Welcome back to the Junior Oil with Manny and Jacko. It was a fun shows last weekend that we did.
It was incredible.
It was earlier in the week. It was crazy. It wasn't even that long ago on Tuesday night.
It still kind of feels like a dream, to be honest.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, and we get to go back there
Yeah.
this upcoming Sunday.
That's the funniest part is like, normally you'd be like, if something like that happened, you'd be like, oh, when will I get back here?
Yeah.
Will this ever happen
For
again?
sure. Yeah.
But we know we're going back there next weekend.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy to think about. I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was a close hockey game.
It was a good game too.
Came down to the third period and
back
Orange,
and forth.
Yeah, it was a fun game to call.
You couldn't ask for anything better,
No.
to be honest with you.
Yeah, and you always know with orange and blue, it's going to be a close game.
Yeah,
so
and it certainly was.
It came down to that third period, but we have two fun ones here today at the Bill Hunter Arena, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Junior Oilers Blue taking on the Lloyd Lancers, and then we have the girls, the Junior Oilers White, taking on taking on the Calgary Fire Red. So I guess let's get started with the first game coming up here. Yeah. Junior Oilers Blue coming off a defeat on Tuesday night against the Junior Oilers Orange, a 4-2 hockey game, Josh. It was a fun game, but they had a slow start in that one.
Well, they weren't playing well defensively whatsoever.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like throughout the game. They weren't able to get their footing in the defensive zone. We talked about this on the post-game show.
Yeah.
So we won't delve too deep into that game.
Yeah.
Because you can check out our previous episodes. But they got to bounce back. They understand that, and I expect a completely different game from them
for sure
tonight against Lloyd.
Yeah.
Because the way they played defensively in that game at Rogers Place was completely unacceptable, and they know that.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
They played decently in the offensive zone and in the offensive aspect of the game, but defensively, where were they? Right?
Yeah, it was not a great game. In terms of the stretch pass, that deep long bomb pass, we saw Orange really stretch out the ice, bringing that one forward deep to kind of stretch back the defenseman. They caught them a few times, and then Ben Harvey eventually delivered on it, finding the big goal to make it 4-2 to really take that 2-goal lead. And Josh, I mean, again, you just can't do that in those types of games, right? When you're in the third period, you're up 3-2, and then Ben Harvey gets the puck on a breakaway. You can't let that happen.
Well, I expect a completely different game from them tonight. And Lloyd, they're kind of struggling throughout the year. They're kind of just sputtering along.
Not a great team.
They're
worst in the North Division.
Well, in their last 10 games, they're 1-9.
Yeah, which their one win, their last win was coming against the Junior Oilers Blue, 2-1. Malachi Jawirs was unbelievable in that hockey game. I think the shots were 30-14 for the Junior Oilers Blue.
Yeah, I mean,
and they lost in overtime. So,
but I mean, in all honesty, they're 4-20 on the year.
Yeah,
which is near the bottom of the division. But you can't just expect that you're going to walk out of here with a W and not put in the work, because last game is an example of that. If you're just lackadaisical in your own end or any part of the game, these teams are good enough to pounce on that.
Yeah.
Right? And this is the sport of hockey. Anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously the Junior Oilers Blue are the favorites in this hockey game.
For sure.
They're coming off 2 losses.
Yeah.
The Oilers are.
They got to bounce back here.
Yeah. And but Lloyd, if you're the Lancers, you gotta look at this game like we did it before. We beat these guys before recently.
Yeah.
We could do it again.
For sure.
Right? There's nothing to say that you can't do it again, because it was recent enough where you can look back on it and see what you did right.
Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, their goaltender was a big
the shots were 48-23 in favor of the Junior Oilers Blue. So Malachi Zwiers saved 47 out of 48.
Absolutely
which is
incredible.
Crazy. I'm going to do this.
Zwiers. But looking at their overall goals against, it's one of the highest in the division with 128 goals against.
Yeah, that's wild.
Opposed to the Junior Oilers, where they've only given up 76 goals against. Junior Oilers are plus 24 in the goal department. They scored 100 goals, opposed to the 65 goals scored by Lloyd. So if they win, if Lloyd has a chance of winning this, I would expect them to have to keep it a low-scoring game.
For sure.
Right?
Yep.
Because you're not going to outscore Junior Oilers.
No.
Right? And just based on the statistics throughout the year, if I'm Lloyd, I would try to hunker down and Just keep it a low-scoring affair. Their power play, Oilers have the major edge in that, and also the penalty kill. Their penalty kill is only 75%, and the Junior Oilers Blues penalty kill almost 88%. So one of the better ones in the division.
Yeah.
So stay out of the box if you're Lloyd, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, you don't want to.
Nope.
Like, if you're only operating at a 75% rate on the penalty kill, and you're up against a 22% power play, things aren't going to go good for you.
No.
So, if Lloyd wants to have any chance in this game, stay out of the box, number one, and keep it a low-scoring affair.
Your goaltender's got to have a good game as well.
Oh, yeah.
Malachi Zwiers is probably going to have to do what he did the last time they played, which is unfortunate.
Probably,
but I mean, just the way you're looking at their team, again, there's not even really that top-end scoring, right? Like, their top score is 22 points. We've looked at some of the other teams. Grand Prairie, they're not high in the standings either. But the difference between them and Lloyd, again, that top-tier scoring, you have that one line that is going to go out there, and there's kids who throw up 35 points. The highest score, Cole Hines with 22, but then you look at the Blue, they've got 4 guys who are in the running, right, to be right up there with the top scorers for Lloyd. So
well, that's what I mean. That's why they got to keep it a low-scoring affair, right? Because if you're going to do a track meet with the Oilers, game over. Because look at that second meeting they had. It was an 8-4 game in favor of the Oilers.
And then the first one, 5-0 back here in St.
Well, that's what I mean, right? Any high-scoring game, the Oilers have the edge.
Yep.
So if you're Lloyd, keep it low-scoring.
I'm pretty sure we called this one. I'm trying to remember. It's the 27th of October. We've called so many. The year's gone so fast
so many,
this year.
And there's 3 teams we're doing it for too, right?
Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
But it's been an absolute blast, and we're just getting down to the stretch now, to be honest, right?
Yeah, still a month
and a half.
February, month and a half, and then there's a few games at the start of March, and then playoffs. So, I mean, we still got a lot of hockey to go here, and it's really, really coming down to the end. I mean, standings are gonna be close. We have a big game tomorrow in St. Albert and Blue, but again, for them to get on the back on the right note, win today against Lloyd, it's going to be your easiest win possibly of the season. If you play your game, you're beating Lloyd, realistically. Tomorrow is going to be a tougher task. St. Albert's been very, very good in this second half, this last stretch. It's going to be a tough matchup, but with all confidence I have in Blue, they're going to bounce back. This is a team that does it very well. They bounce back. They play very well in the regular season. They still haven't figured out Orange, Josh, but this is a great hockey team.
Well, they're 15, 5-5 on the year, which is a really, really good record.
Mm-hmm.
That's good enough for, are they second in the standings, I believe?
Pulling it
or
up.
Tied for second? Because Sherwood Park, the Kings, who they'll be facing another time here at Bill Hunter before the year's out, they're Sherwood Park's number 1 still, correct?
I'm just trying to load it up here. Yes, they are. Yeah. Sherwood Park, 26 games played. They are 16-5-2-3, 37 points. St. Albert right behind them, behind by 1 point, 17-7-2 with 36 points. Then Blue, 26 games played, 15-5, also with 36 points. So right in the running, Josh. I mean, these next 2 games, especially against St. Albert, is going to be, in terms of standings, can mix everything up.
Most definitely. And it's not going to get any easier down the stretch here. As far as like standings are concerned and strength of schedule, this might be one of the teams where like you really want to get a W here.
For sure. Yep.
And make up some ground in the standings, because when we get into February, every single point counts.
For sure.
Because it's going to be tight.
Yeah.
Right? It's tight right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. It is very close.
Yeah. So
as tight as it's going to get.
Exactly.
And this is pretty crazy to note, but Orange, even though beating Blue twice, Josh, hasn't had a great season. They are 5th right now in the North Division with 31 points. They do have 2 games at hand on Fort Sask, but they are 5th, 1 point behind Fort Sask. Likely they'll win one of those 2 games and obviously bump up, but pretty crazy to note. We don't normally see them this far down, right? They're normally in a closer contention, and they are, even though beating Blue twice, they're still 5 points behind Blue with the same amount of games played. So really telling of their season so far this year.
Yeah, they've been kind of hit and miss here and there. But still enough time to make up ground in the standings.
For sure.
If you're Orange.
Yep.
They got 2 home games here next weekend,
Yeah.
which will there'll be big games for
They
Orange.
haven't been at home in a long time,
No,
Josh.
they
We haven't
haven't.
called a game in forever.
Yeah, exactly. So they got a few down the stretch.
Yeah,
Which they'll have to take advantage of, and hopefully for them they can make up some ground
I would agree.
in the standings.
Yeah, looking into the future here, big games for both teams down the stretch, Josh. It's going to be interesting to see how each one, see if they can rebound Junior Oilers Blue. Orange, see if they can figure out kind of how to get back up there in the standings. So it's going to be a close race. Let's transition here to the next game of the day. The Junior Oilers White are taking on the Calgary Fire Red, Josh. This is going to be a fun game to call as well. All 3 times that these teams have met have all been close hockey games, Josh. 3-0, 3-1, and 2-0. So, again, not scoring goals, but the Calgary Fire Red have kept it decently close games, Josh.
Yeah, and you got to give them credit for that against the undefeated Junior Oilers White. But being shut out twice.
Yeah.
They've only scored once out of the 3 games. But you got to give them credit for keeping it close.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're gonna. Just looking at their top players, I don't think they have the firepower.
No, they don't have the fire.
Compete.
They don't. That's for sure. I mean, they got a good goaltender, but again, you have to score if you're going to try and beat this team, and they haven't really done that so far. Looking at the Junior Oilers White's past 5 games, they've beaten the top teams, Josh. 6-0 against Red Deer, 5-1 against St. Albert, 6-0 against Calgary Fire Black, 3-0 against Calgary Fire Red, 3-1 against Calgary Fire Red. So, Josh,
if there was a
yeah,
a better division, they'd be in it.
Yeah.
Junior Oilers White going for 20-0.
Power play clicking at 28%. Penalty kill at home, 97%, Josh. I mean, they love playing here, and we haven't seen them lose yet. So it's really going to be tough for the Calgary Fire Red today.
Yeah, I'm looking at the last 10. Calgary, only 5 wins in their last 10 games. Their road record is not that good. 2-4, 2-4-2. They're -3 in goals.
Yeah.
The Junior Oilers have only given up 16 goals this year.
In 19 games, that's ridiculous. I mean, looking at everyone else, the next closest, Josh, is actually Lloyd, who they play at Rogers Place on next Sunday, and they have 36. So that's a 20-goal difference between the two. So not even close. They have 2 less games played than St. Albert, and they have 11 points total more than they do. So
yeah,
they're just running away with the entire
it's
thing.
an unprecedented type of run. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, give them all the credit.
Yeah.
They can win close games.
Yeah.
They can blow you out, and their goaltending is
Very good
the best
as well.
in the league.
Yep.
So
They're stacked.
I expect nothing different.
They're like the Dodgers in the MLB, Josh, just signing everyone and best team.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see a path. Sorry, Calgary. I don't see a path for them winning in this game.
I'm not
Just
going to
being
count them
honest.
out, though, Josh.
being
Eventually,
honest.
I mean, for them to go and win the next, rest of the season, Josh, going undefeated for the entire season, that would be insane. You don't have any. It's tough to go into playoffs without losing because there's a lot of new girls to this team, Josh. This was the start of the season. We talked about it a lot. And to not have any kind of setbacks, Josh, can be tough for the team.
Well, they were missing Layla Matt last game.
Yes. But I'm talking about in terms of losing hockey games. I know that a U22 tournament, as much as that losing is in effect, it doesn't matter as much because it doesn't count to the standings, right? You're just there to play in a tournament. So if they lose, which who knows if they will, they don't have many games left to go, a few in February.
Yeah.
They really have to win. I should probably count it out. They probably have to win 6 more games to go undefeated, Josh.
I think it's more than that.
Yeah, that's close. It's close.
6
It's around
games
that. It's around that. Yeah.
Wow,
6 or 7.
It's it's actually possible.
It's definitely possible, but
Oh my goodness.
I mean, let's not jinx it like we do on the broadcast
Yeah,
all
right.
the time.
I seen that one of the posts on social media. They are ranked first in the
in the
nation.
national rankings, which
Incredible.
is not.
Oh, obviously. I
yeah.
mean, you're 19-0. Why wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
So I expect a win from them, and if it's gonna be a close game in game 1, Lloyd has to keep it low scoring.
I would agree. So
That's my predictions.
both matchups that are in favor of our junior Oilers today. Thank you for listening, watching, and subscribing. We will be back for the post game after the junior Oilers white, maybe with a guest. We'll see about that. But thank you for listening. That was the Junior Oil.